Have you ever walked away from a family gathering feeling drained, stressed, or even frustrated? As we age, our time and energy become more valuable than ever. Yet some relationships, especially within our own families, can become toxic and detrimental to our well-being. While we may feel obligated to maintain these connections out of loyalty, tradition, or guilt, it's important to recognize when certain relationships do more harm than good. You've spent decades building a life, learning lessons and accumulating wisdom. Now is the time to prioritize your peace of mind, health, and happiness. But are there certain relatives who might be silently taking a toll on you? Some people, whether intentionally or not, bring negativity, drain your emotional energy, or create unnecessary stress. Recognizing these dynamics is the first step toward protecting your well-being. In this video, we'll explore 6 types of relatives you may want to distance yourself from after 60. And trust me, number 5 will surprise you. From those who constantly criticize your choices to those who manipulate your kindness, it's time to identify the people who no longer contribute positively to your life. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to set healthy boundaries, reclaim your personal space, and cultivate relationships that bring you joy and fulfillment. Number 1, the drama queen, the emotional storm that never ends. Every family has one, the drama queen or king. This is the relative who thrives on chaos, magnifies minor problems, and always seems to be in the middle of a crisis. They bring every issue to you expecting sympathy, involvement, or even solutions. No matter the situation, they find a way to turn it into a dramatic event that requires urgent attention. At first, you might feel compassionate, believing that they truly need support. However, over time, you start noticing a pattern. These crises never really get resolved. Instead, new ones arise just as the old ones fade. This cycle of drama can be emotionally draining, making it necessary to establish boundaries to protect your own well-being. Who is the drama queen? A drama queen, or king, isn't just someone who occasionally gets upset or reacts emotionally. Everyone has moments like that. Instead, this person consistently operates in a heightened state of emotional turmoil. Their problems are always the biggest, their feelings the most intense, and their need for attention never-ending. Some common traits of a drama queen include exaggeration. They turn small inconveniences into major catastrophes. A simple disagreement with a coworker can become a life-changing betrayal. Attention-seeking behavior. They thrive on validation and sympathy, often seeking out others to listen to their never-ending woes. Constant crisis mode. There's always something wrong. Health scares, financial problems, relationship issues. The cycle never ends. Lack of accountability. They rarely take responsibility for their actions, instead blaming others for their misfortunes. Emotional manipulation. They guilt-trip others into feeling responsible for their happiness or distress. If you have a drama queen in your life, you may feel like you're always on an emotional roller coaster. Their mood swings, over-the-top reactions, and need for attention can leave you feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. Why avoid the drama queen? It may feel harsh to distance yourself from a family member or close friend, but protecting your own peace is essential. Here's why engaging with a drama queen too often can be detrimental. 1. Emotional exhaustion. Dealing with someone who is constantly in crisis can take a significant toll on your mental and emotional well-being. You may feel obligated to listen, sympathize, and even offer solutions. But no matter how much support you give, their problems never seem to end. Over time, this can lead to emotional burnout, a state of chronic stress that can cause anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. Research has shown that prolonged stress increases cortisol levels, which can contribute to heart disease, weakened immunity, and chronic fatigue. 2. The never-ending cycle of problems. One of the most frustrating aspects of dealing with a drama queen is that their crises are rarely resolved. You may spend hours offering advice and emotional support, only to find that they don't take any meaningful action to improve their situation. For example, imagine you have a cousin who constantly complains about their financial struggles. You offer budgeting tips, recommend better job opportunities, or even lend them money. Yet, a month later, they're in the same situation, asking for help again. This cycle repeats indefinitely because they don't actually want a solution. They want attention and validation. And 3, they drain your energy. Instead of bringing joy or companionship into your life, drama queens add unnecessary stress. Their constant negativity can affect your own mood and energy levels, leaving you feeling exhausted after every interaction. Even if you try to maintain a positive outlook, prolonged exposure to negativity can slowly erode your mental well-being. You might find yourself feeling irritable, anxious, or even resentful after spending time with them. 4, they can damage your other relationships. When you invest too much time and energy into a drama queen's problems, you might start neglecting your own needs and relationships. Friends and family members who provide positive support may start feeling frustrated when they see you being emotionally drained by someone who thrives on chaos. You may also find yourself bringing their negativity into your other relationships, unintentionally spreading stress and frustration to those who care about you. How to handle a drama queen. Although completely cutting off a drama queen may not always be possible, especially if they're a close relative, there are effective strategies to manage the relationship while protecting your own peace. 1. Set clear boundaries. One of the most important steps in dealing with a drama queen is establishing firm boundaries. This means refusing to engage in unnecessary drama. If they start exaggerating a minor problem, let them know that you're not interested in gossip or negativity. Limiting how much emotional support you offer. It's okay to be compassionate, but you don't have to be their therapist. Saying no when needed. If they constantly demand your time and energy, practice saying, "I can't help you with this," or "I need to focus on my own well-being right now." 2. Limit contact when necessary. If interacting with a drama queen leaves you feeling drained, consider reducing the amount of time you spend with them. You don't have to cut them off entirely, but you can. Take longer to respond to their calls or messages. Avoid one-on-one time if possible. Spend time with them in group settings instead. Keep conversations short and to the point. If they start spiraling into drama, politely excuse yourself. 3. Redirect the conversation. If a drama queen constantly complains or gossips, try steering the conversation in a more positive direction. For example, if they're complaining about a coworker, ask them about something positive in their life. If they're exaggerating a problem, downplay it with a neutral response like, "I'm sure things will work out." If they're trying to drag you into gossip, change the subject entirely. By refusing to feed into their negativity, you send a clear message that you won't be a part of their drama. 4. Encourage healthy coping mechanisms. Some drama queens genuinely struggle with emotional regulation and may not realize the toll their behavior takes on others. If they're open to change, gently suggest healthier ways to cope with stress, such as practicing mindfulness or meditation, journaling about their feelings instead of venting to others, seeking professional therapy if they have deeper emotional struggles. However, keep in mind that you are not responsible for fixing them. They have to be willing to change. 5. Focus on protecting your own peace. Ultimately, the best way to handle a drama queen is to prioritize your own well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy, surround yourself with positive influences, and maintain a strong support system of people who uplift you. How Mary handled her drama queen sister Mary, a 65-year-old retired teacher, had a younger sister, Lisa, who called her daily with dramatic stories. Every phone call was filled with complaints. Lisa's neighbor was rude, her boss was unfair, her friend had betrayed her. Over time, Mary realized that these conversations left her feeling anxious and emotionally drained. At first, she felt guilty about limiting contact. However, she soon understood that Lisa wasn't actually looking for advice. She just wanted someone to vent to. So, Mary made a conscious decision to set boundaries. She stopped answering Lisa's calls every day. Instead, she responded when she felt emotionally prepared. When Lisa started complaining, Mary gently redirected the conversation to more positive topics. She spent more time on hobbies like gardening and reading, activities that brought her peace. Over time, Mary felt happier and less stressed, while Lisa eventually found other outlets for her drama. Dealing with a drama queen can be exhausting, but it's important to remember that you are not responsible for managing their emotional turmoil. By setting boundaries, limiting contact, and prioritizing your own well-being, you can maintain a sense of peace while still being compassionate. You deserve relationships that bring positivity into your life, not ones that drain your energy with unnecessary drama. Number 2, the money leech, a never-ending request for help. As we age, financial security becomes increasingly important. Many older adults have worked for decades to build a nest egg that ensures their comfort and independence. However, some relatives may see older family members as a perpetual source of financial support, leading to a cycle of endless requests for money. This type of behavior can have significant emotional and financial consequences, making it crucial to recognize and address the issue effectively. Why avoid them? Understanding why it's important to distance yourself from financial leeches can help protect your financial well-being and emotional health. Here are some key reasons to be cautious. Financial strain. Older adults often live on a fixed income, relying on pensions, social security, or retirement savings. Repeatedly lending money can jeopardize financial security, making it difficult to cover essential expenses like medical bills, housing, and daily living costs. Unlike younger individuals who still have the potential to earn and save, must be particularly careful about how they manage their finances. Every dollar given away is a dollar that may not be available when truly needed. Emotional guilt and manipulation. Many financial leeches rely on emotional tactics to obtain money. They might guilt-trip their older relatives that saying things like, "I thought family was supposed to help each other," or "I don't know what I'll do if you don't help me." These tactics can make an older adult feel like they are being heartless by saying no, even when their own financial stability is at risk. Over time, this type of manipulation can lead to stress, anxiety, and resentment. Lack of accountability. One of the biggest problems with constantly lending money to a relative is that it often enables irresponsible financial behavior. Instead of learning to budget, control spending, or seek alternative solutions, the recipient continues their reckless financial habits, knowing they have a fallback option. This creates a cycle in which they never learn true financial independence and always return for more help. While saying no to a family member in need can be challenging, protecting your financial security should always be the priority. Here are some strategies to handle financial leeches effectively. 1. Say no with confidence. Setting clear financial boundaries is essential. If you have already helped someone multiple times and they continue to ask for more, it's time to be firm. You don't have to be rude, but you do need to be direct. A simple statement like, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you financially." This makes it clear that you are no longer an option for financial assistance. There is no need to justify or explain your decision excessively. The more you try to rationalize, the more they may attempt to counter your reasoning. 2. Offer non-financial support. Instead of giving money, consider offering advice or directing them to resources that can help them improve their financial situation. Some alternatives include helping them create a budget, suggesting job opportunities or training programs, connecting them with financial counseling services, encouraging them to apply for assistance programs if they are struggling financially. By doing this, you provide support without enabling their dependency. Keeping your financial situation private is one of the best ways to avoid becoming a target. Avoid discussing your savings, investments, or financial plans openly, especially with relatives known for asking for money. Additionally, consider setting up financial safeguards such as a power of attorney to ensure responsible financial management. If necessary, consult with a financial advisor or estate planner to create legal barriers that prevent financial exploitation. Be cautious with joint accounts or co-signing loans, as these can make you legally responsible for another person's debt. John, a 70-year-old retiree, had a nephew, Mike, who frequently asked for financial help. At first, John was happy to help, believing Mike was just going through a tough time. However, the requests never stopped. Each time Mike promised to pay him back, but he never did. Over the years, John lent thousands of dollars, impacting his retirement savings significantly. When John finally decided to refuse another loan, Mike became angry and stopped contacting him altogether. Although it was painful to lose the relationship, John soon realized that his connection with Mike had been built solely on money. It was a wake-up call that helped him understand the importance of setting boundaries. While he still cared for his nephew, he understood that continually giving money was not the solution. In some cases, repeated financial requests may be a sign of financial abuse. If a family member or caregiver is constantly pressuring or manipulating you into giving them money, it's important to recognize these warning signs. Frequent and urgent financial requests. They always seem to be in financial distress and expect you to be their safety net. Emotional blackmail. They use guilt, fear, or other emotional tactics to coerce you into giving money. Lack of repayment or accountability. They promise to pay back what they borrow but never follow through. Taking control of your finances. They attempt to manage your accounts, withdraw money, or influence financial decisions without your consent. Isolation tactics. They may try to isolate you from other family members or friends who could warn you about their behavior. If you suspect financial exploitation, consider seeking help from trusted family members, a lawyer, or a senior advocacy organization. Protecting your financial well-being is not selfish. It is necessary. As you age, maintaining control over your money ensures that you can live comfortably and independently. Establishing clear boundaries helps prevent financial strain and allows you to support your family in ways that are sustainable and healthy. By saying no to financial leeches, you send a powerful message. Your financial security is not up for negotiation. True support and love in a family should not be conditional on monetary assistance. Instead, encouraging financial responsibility and independence benefits everyone in the long run. While it's natural to want to help loved ones, repeatedly giving money to a relative who refuses to change their habits can do more harm than good. Saying no may be difficult, but it is often the best choice for both your financial security and your relationship. If you find yourself dealing with a money leech, remember, you are not obligated to fund someone else's lifestyle. Financial security in retirement should be a priority. Helping someone financially should not come at the cost of your own well-being. By setting boundaries and offering support in healthier ways, you ensure that your golden years remain free of unnecessary stress and financial strain. If a family member truly values your relationship, they will respect your decision, whether money is involved or not. Number 3. The always right relative, the master of unsolicited advice. Families can be a source of love, support, and shared history. However, they can also bring challenges, particularly when dealing with difficult relatives. One of the most frustrating types is the always right relative, the person who insists they know best about everything, from your career choices to your personal relationships, diet, parenting style, and even how you should spend your weekends. These individuals are quick to dismiss your thoughts, eager to offer unsolicited advice, and rarely open to considering another perspective. These relatives may have good intentions, believing they are helping you by sharing their wisdom. However, their behavior often stems from a need for control, superiority, or an inability to accept that others may have different experiences and perspectives. They might genuinely believe they have a duty to guide you, or they may be using their unsolicited advice as a way to validate their own choices. Regardless of their motivations, constantly interacting with a relative who refuses to acknowledge your opinions or experiences can be draining and damaging to your self-confidence. Over time, it can affect your mental well-being and your ability to make decisions independently. Why avoid or manage them carefully? 1. Erodes confidence. When someone continuously tells you that you're wrong or dismisses your decisions, it can make you doubt yourself. Over time, you may begin to second-guess your own choices, feeling uncertain even about things you were once sure of. This can be especially damaging if you are already dealing with self-doubt in other areas of your life. 2. Creates unnecessary stress. Arguing with someone who refuses to listen to your point of view can be exhausting. These interactions often become repetitive, with the always right relative rehashing the same opinions over and over. This can lead to frustration, anxiety, and even resentment, turning family gatherings into stressful experiences. 3. Dismisses your experiences. No matter how much knowledge or experience you have, these relatives believe their perspective is superior. This can be particularly frustrating when you have expertise in a subject, yet they insist they know better. Their dismissiveness can make you feel invisible and unheard. 4. Strains family relationships. When a relative constantly insists they are right, it can create tension within the family. Other members may feel forced to take sides, leading to unnecessary conflicts. Over time, this dynamic can cause rifts that are difficult to repair. Dealing with this type of relative requires patience, strategy, and sometimes a firm stance. Here are some approaches that can help. 1. Assert your opinions. One of the most effective ways to handle an always right relative is to stand firm in your own beliefs. Calmly but confidently express your thoughts and decisions. If they try to override your opinion, respond with phrases like, "I appreciate your input, but I've already made my decision." "That's an interesting perspective, but I see things differently. I hear what you're saying, but I trust my own experience on this." By setting clear boundaries, you send the message that while you respect their right to an opinion, your decisions are your own. Number 2, redirect the conversation. If you find yourself trapped in a conversation where they won't stop offering unsolicited advice, try shifting the topic to something neutral. For example, if they are criticizing your career choice, change the subject to a family event or a hobby. If they are insisting on giving parenting advice you didn't ask for, ask them about their own childhood experiences instead. If they are pushing their views on health or fitness, bring up a different interest that you know they enjoy discussing. Shifting the conversation helps prevent conflict and keeps the discussion from turning into a lecture. 3. Limit engagement. If their behavior continues to be toxic, consider reducing the amount of time you spend engaging with them. This doesn't mean cutting them out entirely, but you can choose to limit the depth and frequency of interactions. Set boundaries for yourself, such as keeping conversations short and surface level, avoiding controversial topics when speaking with them, choosing to engage with them in group settings rather than one-on-one. 4. Use humor to diffuse tension. Sometimes responding with humor can lighten the mood and prevent a conversation from becoming too tense. For example, if they insist you should be eating a different diet, you might say, "I'll have to invite you over for dinner and show you how delicious my choices are." If they claim to know the best way to raise kids, you could joke, "Maybe I should write a book about all the advice I get." Humor can serve as a gentle way to deflect their comments without creating conflict. 5. Set clear boundaries. At times, it may be necessary to set firm boundaries and let them know that their constant advice is unwelcome. You can say something like, "I know you mean well, but I'd appreciate it if you let me figure this out on my own. I prefer to make my own decisions, even if it means making mistakes along the way. I value our relationship, but I don't want every conversation to be about what I should or shouldn't do." Being direct but respectful helps establish limits on how much unsolicited advice they can offer. Susan, a 68-year-old grandmother, wanted to try yoga to improve her flexibility and mental well-being. However, her older brother, who had always been the expert in the family, dismissed the idea as a waste of time and insisted that she should focus on walking instead. Rather than arguing with him, Susan simply said, "I appreciate your opinion, but I think I'll give yoga a try." She joined a local class and quickly discovered that yoga helped her feel more energetic and relaxed. Over time, she gained more flexibility and even made new friends. Eventually, her brother saw how happy and healthy she looked and stopped questioning her decision. Dealing with an always right relative can be challenging, but it's important to remember that their behavior says more about them than it does about you. By standing your ground, setting boundaries, and choosing how much engagement you allow, you can maintain your confidence and avoid unnecessary stress. At the end of the day, your life is your own, and you have the right to make decisions that align with your values and experiences. Number 4, the guilt-tripping relative, masters of emotional manipulation. Family dynamics can be complex, and one of the most challenging relationships to navigate is with a guilt-tripping relative. These individuals are experts at using emotional manipulation to control others, making you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself or setting healthy boundaries. While it's natural to want to maintain close family ties, it's important to recognize when a relationship is unhealthy and how to handle it in a way that preserves your well-being. Why avoid them? 1. Causes resentment. Over time, dealing with guilt-tripping relatives can lead to significant emotional distress. Their manipulation often leaves you feeling burdened and obligated to meet their demands. This can create deep-seated resentment, making family gatherings and interactions stressful rather than enjoyable. Resentment builds when you consistently feel pressured into saying yes when you want to say no. Eventually, this can damage the relationship beyond repair. 2. Drains emotional energy. Constant guilt-tripping is exhausting. These relatives have a way of making you feel like you're never doing enough, even when you go out of your way to help them. This ongoing pressure can lead to anxiety, stress, and even depression. The more you try to please them, the more they demand, leaving you feeling depleted. Your emotional energy is a finite resource, and allowing it to be drained by manipulative relatives means you have less to invest in relationships and activities that truly bring you joy. 3. Prevents you from living freely. Your golden years should be about enjoying life on your terms. However, guilt-tripping relatives often make you feel obligated to prioritize their needs over your own. Whether it's being expected to babysit grandchildren every day, attending every single family gathering, or financially supporting a relative who refuses to be responsible, these demands can prevent you from living the life you desire. You deserve to enjoy your time, pursue hobbies, travel, and prioritize your well-being without constantly feeling guilty. How to handle it? 1. Recognize manipulation. One of the first steps in dealing with guilt-tripping relatives is recognizing their tactics. Some common phrases they use include, "After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me. If you really cared about family, you'd be here. I guess I just don't matter to you anymore. You used to be so much more helpful before. I would do this for you if the roles were reversed." By identifying these phrases for what they are, emotional manipulation, you can start detaching from the guilt they intend to create. Understanding that their words are meant to control you rather than express genuine concern can help you respond in a way that protects your peace. 2. Stand firm. Setting boundaries with guilt-tripping relatives can be uncomfortable at first, but it is necessary. When they attempt to guilt you into something, practice saying no without over-explaining. For example, relative, "If you loved me, you'd come over every weekend." Response: "I love you, but I have other commitments. I'll visit when I can." Relative: "I need you to babysit the kids again. You don't want me to struggle, do you?" Response: "I'm happy to help sometimes, but I can't do it every day. I hope you understand." The key is to be firm but polite. If they continue to push, repeat your boundary without getting drawn into a debate. 3. Prioritize yourself. Your well-being matters. It's okay to put yourself first, even when dealing with family. If a relative makes you feel guilty for doing what's best for you, remind yourself that their feelings are their responsibility, not yours. You are not obligated to sacrifice your happiness or peace to satisfy someone else's expectations. One effective way to shift your mindset is by practicing self-compassion. Instead of feeling guilty for saying no, affirm your right to personal space and self-care. Try repeating affirmations like, "I deserve to set boundaries without feeling guilty. My needs are just as important as anyone else's. I have the right to say no and still be a loving family member." Linda, a retired school teacher, loved spending time with her grandchildren but also valued her newfound freedom. However, her daughter frequently used guilt to pressure her into babysitting almost daily. Daughter: "If you really loved me, you'd help me out more. I have so much on my plate." At first, Linda gave in, believing she was being a good mother and grandmother, but soon she found herself exhausted and missing out on activities she enjoyed. She started to resent the situation, but felt trapped by guilt. Finally, Linda decided to set clear boundaries. She sat down with her daughter and said, "Linda, I love you and my grandkids, but I can't babysit every day. I'm happy to help a couple of times a week, but I also have my own commitments." Her daughter was upset first, but Linda stood firm. Over time, her daughter found alternative childcare options, and their relationship improved because Linda was no longer feeling overwhelmed and resentful. Guilt-tripping relatives can make you feel like you're being selfish for setting boundaries, but in reality, prioritizing yourself is an act of self-care. Recognizing manipulation, Standing firm in your decisions and prioritizing your well-being will help you maintain healthier, more balanced relationships. You deserve to enjoy your golden years without feeling constantly obligated to meet others' demands at the expense of your happiness. If you ever find yourself feeling guilty for putting yourself first, remember, setting boundaries is not selfish. It is necessary for your peace of mind. Guilt is often a tool of manipulation, not a true reflection of your character. You can love your family without letting them control your time and energy. By taking control of your emotional well-being, you empower yourself to live a fulfilling and joyful life on your own terms. Number 5, the toxic caretaker. Control disguised as help. When we think of caretakers, we usually picture people who provide love, support, and assistance to those in need. Whether it's a family member, friend, or professional caregiver, these individuals often play an essential role in ensuring the well-being of others. However, not all caretakers have pure intentions. Some use their role as a way to gain control over another person's life, subtly stripping away independence while maintaining the appearance of helpfulness. This phenomenon, known as the toxic caretaker, is a manipulative dynamic where care and support are weaponized to create dependency, diminish self-confidence, and exert influence over someone's life. Recognizing the signs and learning how to navigate such relationships is crucial to maintaining personal freedom and well-being. Why avoid a toxic caretaker? Not all caretakers are toxic, but those who are can cause significant emotional, psychological, and even financial damage. Here's how they operate. 1. Creates dependency. One of the most dangerous aspects of a toxic caretaker is their ability to create dependency. At first, their help seems generous and genuine. They might offer to run errands, handle finances, or make medical decisions, all in the name of helping or making life easier. But over time, this assistance turns into an expectation, and the person receiving care gradually loses their ability to function independently. Example, Linda, a retired teacher, initially appreciated her niece helping with her bills. However, as time went on, her niece discouraged her from managing her own money, insisting it was too stressful for her. Linda eventually realized she no longer knew the state of her own finances, leaving her vulnerable to financial exploitation. 2. Erodes self-confidence. A toxic caretaker can subtly undermine a person's self-confidence by constantly reminding them of their limitations. They may say things like, "Are you sure you can handle that on your own? Let me do it for you. It'll be easier. I don't want you to get hurt or make a mistake." These statements, while seemingly caring, plant seeds of doubt in the person's mind, making them feel incapable and reliant on the caretaker for even basic decisions. Example, after an illness, Mark's sister took over handling his medical appointments. Over time, she convinced him that he wasn't capable of remembering or making good decisions about his health. Mark began to feel helpless, even about minor choices like what to eat or when to exercise. 3. May have hidden motives. While some toxic caretakers genuinely believe they are helping, others have ulterior motives. These could include financial gain, social status, or emotional control over another person. Some red flags include financial exploitation, gaining access to bank accounts, property, or assets under the guise of managing things more efficiently. Influence over decisions, making major life choices without consulting the person they are caring for. Emotional manipulation, using guilt or fear to maintain control, such as saying, "If you don't let me handle this, something bad might happen." Example, Robert trusted his son to manage his finances after his wife passed away. Over time, he noticed unexplained withdrawals and investments he had never approved. When he confronted his son, he was met with excuses and guilt-tripping, making it difficult for Robert to reclaim his independence. If you recognize these patterns in your life, it's important to take steps to regain control and protect your well-being. 1. Stay independent. Keep control over your finances. If you need help, use professional financial services rather than relying solely on a family member or friend. Make your own health decisions. Stay involved in medical choices, attend appointments, and understand treatment plans. Maintain daily responsibilities. Even if assistance is needed, remain active in managing personal affairs. 2. Seek outside support. Use professional caregivers. Instead of relying on family members who may have personal motives, consider hiring trained professionals who follow ethical guidelines. Consult trusted friends. A second opinion can provide perspective and reveal if someone is being overly controlling. Legal advice. If financial or legal control has been taken from you, consulting an attorney may help restore autonomy. 3. Set boundaries. Clearly define the help you need. Let caretakers know what tasks they are allowed to assist with and what remains your responsibility. Say no without guilt. If a caretaker tries to take over decisions, firmly state, "I appreciate your concern, but I'd like to handle this myself." Remove toxic influences. If necessary, limit contact with individuals who insist on overstepping boundaries. Recognizing the warning signs early. The earlier you recognize a toxic caretaker, the easier it is to prevent their control from escalating. Here are some early warning signs. They insist on handling things even when you express a desire to do it yourself. They make you feel guilty for seeking help from others. They get defensive or angry when questioned about their control. They dismiss your concerns and make decisions without consulting you. They isolate you from others who could offer different perspectives. If you notice these behaviors, take proactive steps to reassert control over your life before their influence grows. The balance between genuine care and toxic control. Not all caretakers with controlling tendencies have bad intentions. Sometimes they believe they are acting in a person's best interest. However, there's a difference between helpful assistance and toxic control. A healthy caretaker encourages independence, respects boundaries and choices, provides support without seeking control, allows the person to remain involved in their own affairs. A toxic caretaker makes decisions without consulting the person, creates fear or guilt around independent actions, seeks control over finances, health, or social life, discourages outside perspectives or professional assistance. Recognizing this distinction helps in determining whether someone's support is genuine or a means of control. The concept of the toxic caretaker is an uncomfortable reality that many people face, especially as they age or encounter health challenges. While receiving help is sometimes necessary, it should never come at the cost of personal freedom and self-respect. By staying vigilant, setting boundaries, and seeking professional assistance when needed, individuals can protect themselves from manipulative caretakers while still receiving the genuine support they require. The key takeaway? True care empowers rather than controls. Always prioritize your independence and never be afraid to reclaim your life from those who disguise control as help. Number 6. The perfect image. Relative. Living in a world of illusions. In life, we all have relatives who seem to have everything together. Flawless careers, perfect relationships, beautiful homes, and an endless stream of picture-perfect vacations. They project an image of effortless success and happiness, making those around them feel like they are falling short. These relatives, often unintentionally, create a world of illusions where perfection is the norm and anything less unexcellity. Or is it just a well-curated illusion? Let's explore the impact of these perfect image relatives, why it's best to maintain a healthy distance from them, and how to protect your mental well-being when dealing with them.
The illusion of perfection.
What lies beneath? The perfect image relative is often the one who always seems to have their life together. Their house is immaculate, their children excel in everything, their relationships appear harmonious, and they constantly seem to be achieving new milestones. Their social media profiles are filled with radiant smiles, luxurious experiences, and impressive accomplishments. But here's the truth. Perfection is an illusion. No one's life is without struggles. The problem with these relatives is that they often go to great lengths to hide their difficulties, creating a distorted reality that can make others feel inadequate. While some people naturally have a polished and well-organized life, many others put on a front. They may be struggling with financial stress, relationship issues, self-doubt, or mental health challenges. However, admitting to these struggles would shatter their carefully crafted image, so they keep up the illusion, leaving others to wonder why their own lives feel so chaotic in comparison. Why avoid them? It may seem harmless to keep these people in your life, but constantly being exposed to their perfection can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. Here's why. 1 creates unnecessary pressure. The more you're exposed to the illusion of perfection, the more you may start to feel like your own life is lacking. You might begin to compare yourself and wonder, why haven't I achieved as much as they have? Why does their life seem so much easier than mine? What am I doing wrong? This constant comparison can be exhausting and demotivating. Instead of focusing on your own journey, you may find yourself trying to keep up with someone else's unrealistic standards, leading to stress, anxiety, and even feelings of unworthiness. 2, often inauthentic. Many people who project perfection are doing so to cover up their own struggles. They want to be admired, envied, or even feared. Some might do it to gain social status, while others use it as a coping mechanism to avoid facing their own insecurities. The problem? This inauthenticity can make interactions feel superficial. You may find yourself unable to have real, meaningful conversations with them because everything is centered around appearances. Instead of discussing real challenges and personal growth, every interaction feels like a performance. 3, can be judgmental. Some perfect image relatives take their illusion to another level by subtly or overtly looking down on others who don't fit their standard of success. They might make passive-aggressive comments about your job, lifestyle, or choices, brag about their own accomplishments in a way that makes you feel small, dismiss your struggles as insignificant because they don't fit into their version of reality. Over time, their judgment can eat away at your confidence, making you feel like you're never good enough.
How to handle it.
You can't always avoid these relatives completely, especially if they are close family members. However, there are effective ways to manage your interactions with them without letting their illusion affect your self-worth. 1, focus on your own journey. Remind yourself that everyone's path in life is different. Some people achieve success early, while others take longer to find their way. Some people have advantages that others don't. Comparing your journey to someone else's is pointless because no 2 lives are the same. Instead of feeling envious or discouraged, focus on your own progress. Celebrate your own milestones, no matter how small, and recognize that personal growth is more valuable than external validation. 2, avoid comparison. Social media makes it easy to fall into the comparison trap, but remember, people only share what they want you to see. You don't see the arguments behind closed doors, the financial struggles, or the moments of self-doubt. If you find yourself feeling inadequate after seeing their posts, take a step back and remind yourself that social media is a highlight reel, not real life. A helpful strategy is to practice gratitude. Instead of dwelling on what you lack, focus on what you have. Keeping a gratitude journal can help shift your mindset from comparison to appreciation. 3, limit exposure. If a certain relative's presence in your life consistently makes you feel bad about yourself, consider limiting your exposure to them. If they frequently post on social media, unfollow or mute them. If their conversations always leave you feeling drained, limit interactions with them. If family gatherings become stressful because of their attitude, spend time with people who uplift you instead. You don't have to cut them out completely, but you do have the right to protect your peace. Number 4, build genuine connections. One of the best ways to counter the illusion of perfection is to surround yourself with people who are authentic. Seek out friends and family members who are honest about their struggles, support you without judgment, celebrate your successes without comparison. Genuine relationships provide emotional support and help you stay grounded in reality. The more you focus on real connections, the less power the perfect image relative will have over your self-worth.
5, embrace imperfection.
Perfection is not a requirement for a happy life. In fact, imperfection is what makes life meaningful. Mistakes, failures, and challenges are part of the human experience, and they help us grow. Instead of striving for perfection, aim for authenticity. Be proud of your journey, even if it's messy. Learn from your setbacks. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. When you embrace imperfection, you take away the power that the illusion of perfection has over you. The next time you find yourself feeling inadequate because of a perfect image relative, take a deep breath and remind yourself you are enough, just as you are. Your life doesn't need to look perfect to be meaningful. Your worth is not measured by external achievements, but by the person you are. At the end of the day, the most fulfilling life is not the one that looks perfect from the outside, but the one that feels authentic from the inside. So live your truth, embrace your journey, and let go of the illusion. You are already more than enough. At 60 and beyond, life should be about joy, health, and meaningful connections. This stage of life is a time to embrace peace, prioritize your well-being, and cultivate relationships that bring positivity and support. While family bonds are important, not all relatives contribute to your happiness. Some may bring unnecessary drama, stress, or emotional exhaustion. It's essential to recognize these dynamics and take proactive steps to protect your mental and emotional health. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it's an act of self-care. By choosing to distance yourself from toxic relationships, you create space for more fulfilling and enriching connections. Surround yourself with those who uplift and inspire you, whether they are family, friends, or even newfound companions in this new phase of life. Your time and energy are precious, and you deserve to spend them in ways that bring you peace and fulfillment. Do you agree with this perspective? Have you encountered any of these challenging family dynamics? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more valuable insights on aging with grace, wisdom, and confidence. Golden Years Balance, helping you age with grace and confidence.